Hey y'all, welcome to the Queen Effect podcast, where we discuss relatable situations that occur in our everyday lives. Our goal is to create a safe space where we can learn, teach, and uplift one another. I'm Madam IJ.
I'm Shay Monet, the Golden Goddess.
And I'm Coco.
Hey beautiful people, what's up? It's your girl Madam IJ. And on this episode of the Queen Effect podcast, we have two guest speakers. We have Brandon. Say hey, Brandon. And we have Chris. Say hey, Chris.
How y'all doing?
Our brothers are going to just give us an insight on how they view BBLs versus natural bodies. And while we're at it, they're going to share with us some of the qualities that they look for when they are talking to a woman that they're interested in. So let's give them the floor and let them share their opinion. Go ahead, y'all.
BBL or natural woman. I mean, it really depends on how she's rocking it, because sometimes you can tell or you can't tell. A beautiful woman is a beautiful woman. A BBL is going to cover up any insecurity that a woman does have. It all is going to depend on the woman. It does look good. I will say that. You know, when a woman walking and, that thing gyrating and going back and forth, it does look good. Some men like thick women. Let me tell it. I do believe that it's a fad. It is a trend. I don't think many people were getting BBL now as they were, let's say, 10, 15, 20 years ago. I mean, it's like it's become a standard. So a real woman will prevail regardless. Me personally, is anything that I look for. I mean, at the end of the day, you really can't tell. Sometimes you can. But the ones that make it very obvious, it's like they're trying to be video vixens in a sense. Sex object. I mean, cool. A big booty, cool. Nothing is wrong with that. We commend it. We respect it. We honor it. Every time one walks by, your head is going to turn, male or female. But in a man's mind, I believe that they're looking at a man that doesn't have self-control is looking at a sex object. A man that does have self-control, they're looking at something else. A woman can be beautiful in many different ways.
I mean, everything's a matter of opinion. I respect women who go get BBLs and the ones who don't. And it's all depending on the type of man you are, too. And, my guy Chris, he sounds like a great guy. I mean, for all the ladies out there, he's a great guy. And me, I'm a dickhead. I mean, now I'm going to look at the BBL. I'm going to say, hey, look, I mean, it either looks good or it doesn't. It's soft or it's not. It really all depends. If you come walking past me and you give me stripper vibes just because your ass is that big, I mean, like, that's probably not a good BBL. You come past me, I don't know. You can't really, like, dissect it like that, but you can at the same time. Like, I go to strip clubs a lot. And you see some botch jobs and you see some fucking outstanding jobs. It's still the woman's prerogative on, whether or not, she feels comfortable and she gets it, whether it boosts her self-esteem, because, it's the woman who's got to carry it. But for me, I don't really give a fuck. If she got her ass done, shit, more fun for me. Some doctors are great, and, I would imagine that I would pick a shorty that would have good decision-making skills and would pick the right doctor, because I'm not going to fuck with you if you got a fucked up BBL.
So I guess my question is, when it comes to the whole BBL thing, do you guys have a preference? Do you prefer more of a natural woman, more of a BBL, or what y'all are saying is it just doesn't matter at all?
It depends on what type of guy you are.
A man is going to look at beauty, and that's what he's going to see.
Do you think about like how her mental is when it came to getting BBL? Because that's a serious procedure. Because I do agree, there are some BBLs that look real good, and there's some BBLs that look like you should go to sleep.
Our mind isn't even going that far. Like, if you risk your life for it, we're going to give you every cent worth. We're going to make sure that you risk your life for a reason.
So they're going to make it worth the risk.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, so my question is, for both of y'all said it really doesn't matter. It depends on the man. Would you be worried about all the attention she would be getting?
All right, now, that's kind of a question about the man and not the woman. But it's all depending on how she carries herself. That counts. Is she's confident, or, is she a stripper? Is she a nurse? Who is she? You got to factor everything in. It's who you are type of situation. Like, are you comfortable with the man you are? Are you comfortable with the woman you're walking around with? Like, are you happy that she has the BBL? Are you trying to keep her away from everybody, whether she has it or whether she doesn't? Because I mean, there's different types of guys out there. There's guys that's gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna keep my girl in the house," or there's guys that's like, "I'm gonna take her out and we going everywhere." You know what I mean? Like, it's all depending on what situation that woman decided to jump in. I'm gonna be happy. I'm slapping ass in public.
Period.
I feel like that question can really be applied to any type of woman with a natural or a BBL, because we got natural bodies that look good too. Like, BBLs are not the only bodies that look good. So that's dependent on how secure that man is. If you're not secure with your woman having a good body, then why would you get with her? You saw her, he saw her too. So we're not just talking about bodies though, like, because I know y'all don't look at women just as pieces of me. You know what I'm saying? I know you like to have like some type of connection with her too. I'm hoping. Because my question is, what are you looking for in a woman though? Like, what are some of the qualities that you like?
The qualities that a man are looking for when it comes to a woman. I believe a man is looking for a woman that is fun, that is friendly, that is fit, and cooperative. I mean, of course, if she can cook, that's a bonus. So, a man wants a woman that's going to be his rock, that's going to be by his side, So I believe that a man is looking for when it comes to a woman. Shout out to the strong, independent woman. Be strong.
Once again, I have a more crucial opinion. Okay.
We want to hear it.
I mean, me, I'm a person that sees a lot of places, so I mean, I come across a lot of different walks of life, and it's different in between all parts of the world just in general. So when it comes down to picking a woman, it all depends on what demographic you're coming from, right? No, I mean, some women are raised up to, cater to their man, make sure they're not worried about anything else but the family, compared to a traditional American woman. She is how do I want to say it? She's more focused on getting her career out there, like making sure she's establishing herself. Like, she's like there, like she wants to be known as her own entity. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it all depends on what type of man is looking for that.
So I can see what you're coming from, because I was born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm Nigerian. Both my parents are Nigerian, so I'm Nigerian as well. And I was brought up in a Nigerian household with Nigerian cultures. So, we are raised up to go, with marriage and relationships like the traditional way, right? So I do agree with you on that. However, in today's society, we also have to make sure that we're able to hold it down, because we're not only holding down, well, I can't speak for other women. I can only speak for how I was brought up. So how I was brought up was, I need to be able to hold down not just for myself, but myself and my family, because anything can happen. I'm not saying that I was brought up to hold down and he don't be holding down. No, because ultimately we both should be holding down, but he should be holding down because he's the man. So I'm going to treat you like the leader, because you are mentally in that place where you understand that you have to be the provider, and we're together, but you're the provider. And I'm gonna let you lead that role if you lead that role. If you can't lead that role, then that's when I'm not even gonna allow you to even be that close to me where you can even try, because then I'm gonna give you more reasons to talk shit about women when it comes to a failure relationship. But it's like, you also didn't do what you're supposed to do. But I totally agree.
Yeah, I understand the angles that y'all are coming from. For me, I was raised on family to be, the nurturer. As women, we are natural nurturers. I feel like my job as a woman to take care of the house and everything, but I do also have a career that I'm pushing forward to. So I do understand what Brandon was saying as far as in the American, American society or culture, how most women are pushing their careers and want to be that independent woman and have their self established. But you just got to know how to balance the two. In my household, with me and my family, my example of that is my grandmother and my grandfather, rest in peace. He was a man. He took care of the house. They had 7 kids. He went to work. My grandma stayed home, took care of the kids, made sure they were, bathed, clean, fed. But anytime that my grandfather lacked or might have needed her help as a woman, that's when you step up and you help your man. It's not like you're supposed to be in competition with the one you're with. It's supposed to be a team effort. So the roles can be switched around. It's not like because I'm working more than my man and I make more money, I'm the head of household. No, the man is always going to be the head of household because he's the man. It's his job to lead and protect and guide. But as a woman, it's like if your man is lacking and you got to step in and do what you got to do, you're going to do it for your family. You're going to do it for your husband because he's going to do the same for you.
Now, does that count when it comes down to the women that don't respect men all the way? because there's different grades of women. Now, if there's a woman in the house and she's making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year, and he's making somewhere in between $25,000 and $50,000 a year, do you think there's going to be a superiority complex?
Okay, so I don't think that the amount of money that a woman makes should determine how much she respects her man. I believe that as a woman, when we begin to lose respect for men, it's not based off of money, but it's more so based off of, okay, I make more money than you, but where are you compensating? If I'm paying the majority of the bills, are you doing the majority of the housework? If I'm grinding and I'm pulling the majority of the heavy workload, what are you doing? Are you sitting at the house playing your game? You kicking it with your homies? You getting hot? Like, what are you doing? When you're not meeting me halfway or attempting to meet me halfway, then that's when the lack of respect comes in for me. I can't speak for all women, but it's never a respect is not based off of money, in my opinion.
Okay, so from personal experience, I've seen where actually the woman did not make the man feel as if he was less than because he made less than her. It was the fact that unfortunately he was jealous of how much she was able to do compared to him. For him, it was a pride thing because he's a man. It was a pride thing because he's a man, and then two, he felt like he was older than her and she's younger than him. So how could she be in that position that she's in? And he's been trying. People are different, so it's not going to always be the case that she's coming at you because you make less than her. It could just be a competition thing to him. Like that shit is real. You do have women that do make men feel less than because they make less than, and they take more of the masculine role. So that is also true. Again, it just boils down to your security as a man. If you're not going to be secure that your woman is making more than you, then don't be with her. Go be with somebody that's like on your level or less than, so you can feel that, superior conflict that you want to have so damn bad. Like,
Yeah, depends on the individual. Of course, it always does. I just feel that a real man, it's not gonna matter how much money he makes. A real man is gonna go out there and go get it. Yeah, people do fall on hard times. I do understand that. We've all been there before. It's not a matter of if, more so when and how a person goes through that and sees themselves through that rough patch. That's really gonna, say a lot about that person. I mean, how down bad does a man need to get, quote unquote? A real man is gonna go out there and go get it regardless. And yeah, she can have a bag. That's great. That's all handy and dandy. In terms of how that man operates in a relationship, if he's a real breadwinner, he's gonna have some bread. How much of the income disparity there is not going to matter if he's getting the bag. How much are we really talking? Talking 40,000 to 100,000. Okay, that's $6,000 difference, and that's a great area. Now, if we talking about my 70 to 80 to your 150, that's not gonna matter. Same thing a person can do with that 150, I can do with that 70, 80. Just generally speaking, a woman's bag, nah, it ain't gonna matter to a man.
Why does it matter? That's what I'm trying to understand, because a jealousy thing, like I've been in it. I've been in the situation to where, oh, you're striving, you're thriving, and maybe I'm not making so much more money than you, but I'm successful and I'm accomplishing everything that I'm setting out to do, and I'm knocking down all the roadblocks. My thing is, why does it matter? If we together, we're one. If I'm winning, you winning. It shouldn't even be a conversation of who's making the most amount of money, or there should never be uncomfortability when it comes to that. As a man, if you're lacking, as your woman, it's my job to pick up that slack, period. I don't give a damn if you're making $10 an hour and I'm making 20. If you my man and I'm fucking with you, like I'm fucking with you, we ride. And this is not what I'm making versus what you're making. It's what we're making collectively together.
and also, I would like to say that if she's coming at you like that, then please don't take advantage of it and become the asshole again by now being like, well, I'm controlling the money, I'm the man. So, and why are you being a dick? I just said we can put our monies together so we can do this together. So don't bring that shit over here, because now you're gonna fuck it up. Now I'm gonna be like, shit, I should never thought that way in the first place. I should have just been like these other motherfuckers, because you giving me the same energy as if I was these other motherfuckers. Just saying.
And I've bounced back and forth so many times. The dynamic in the household nowadays is different. Like, there's a different gameplay. Like, regardless of how much I make, a woman's not gonna be able to shake my ground. Now, me personally, I can speak differently because I feel like I make enough to, hold my own weight or hold my own household for those who know me already anyway. But when it comes down to a woman making more than a man and how much she respects him, it depends on how he presents himself to her. And it really shouldn't even be like that nowadays. But I mean, you have house husbands nowadays. Like you have men who sit home and take care of the kids and do all that domestic shit. Like, and me personally, that's not me. Like, I'm gonna bring the money home. I'm gonna do what I need to do. And if you got a job and you're doing your thing, then I expect you to be there if something happens when I can't hold the fort up. I expect you to be able to step forward. But in between that, some women can't see that nowadays. You might have a man that's holding down the house, and you might have a woman that's sitting right there blowing her money, and some shit come down, and now the whole castle done fell down because you made one false move. That shit could hurt everything.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It should definitely be, it's a two-way street. It's a two-way thing. It can't just all fall on one person. It can't, because I've seen it on both ends.
I would prefer my man to still be the leader, the provider. I'm still going to hold it down. Like, he hears what I have to say too. My opinion holds just as much weight. We're both able to put into the, the situation. How we get this deep, I don't know, y'all, but we here.
And I just want to touch on submission, because I hear a lot of men talk about how women aren't willing to submit, or how a woman should submit. I believe that submission should go both ways. Yes, a woman should submit to her man, but I'm going to be honest with you. If you're not leading me properly, if you're not taking me down a path that I can trust, I'm not submitting. But I also believe that there are times when the man needs to fall back and he needs to submit as well. So from a man's perspective, how do y'all feel about that?
I would say I'm not looking for the submission. Like, I'm not somebody who's going to be there trying to track your every move, see what you're doing, see what you got going on. Like, I'm not that guy. I may used to be that guy, but as I've matured and as I've gotten older, I'm not trying to track your moves. I'm not really trying to sit right there and be like, hey, what you got going on. I'm not even looking for you to be submissive, to be honest about it, because I mean, if that situation is going to happen, it's just going to be that way anyway. Like, people don't know how to fill each other out nowadays. I mean, like, you jump into something and you're immediately ready to say, hey, I'm here. And you're not willing to weigh your options. And people also aren't willing to be truthful to where you can give the other person in this relationship, whether it be the man or the woman, a choice. So that counts a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah, submission, it can go both ways. That term submission is so interesting because we're basically talking about a give and take situation on what you're willing to tolerate and what you will not tolerate. You just have to know your person. You know the kind of person you're dealing with, you're either going to be willing to accept it or reject it.
Is submission really like a thing? Like, for real? I mean, because me personally, and this isn't me trying to be like boisterous or anything like that. I mean, I haven't ran across a woman that hasn't been some kind of submissive in her own way. Like, they're not all going to be submissive in the same way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's got to be there. You got to know how to find it. You know what I mean? Like, you got to fill that person out. Like, I can't stress that point enough. Everybody isn't raised the same. Everybody doesn't have the same morals. Everybody didn't come from the same place. Everybody didn't come from the same fucking pussy. Like, I mean, so when it comes down to a matter of opinion and the difference of a person, that shit right there can put a whole different realm on submission in its own. Now, I mean, because in our own way, now, me in my own head, me speaking out loud, speaking in general, I'm not going to be submissive in any way. I'm going to be dominant in every way. So when you want submission from a woman, you just got to naturally be okay with yourself. Like, and when I say that it's a different type of submissiveness for every woman, you got to understand that it's always going to be different. You can't compare one thing to the other. And that's where people get caught up at, because people sit right there and try to compare themselves to the next person or try to compare their situation to another person. You can't do that.
He went from the dickhead to the philosopher, didn't he? Oh my God. We hope that you all enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Queen Effect podcast, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Follow us on our other social media platforms. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter under @TheQueenEffect, as well as Facebook and YouTube under The Queen Effect. If there's a specific topic you want us to cover, or if you want to send us an anonymous question for our Dear Sis segments, email us at thequeeneffect@gmail.com.